Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA. I'm your host, André Natera. On today's episode, we have family meal. At least that's what I'm calling it right now. Three of my chef friends, Rico Torres from the Michelin-starred restaurant Michelin in San Antonio, Top Chef Season 18 winner, Gabe Erales, from Oido restaurant, Mike Diaz, who's an aspiring stand-up comedian. It's a group of friends, like a high school reunion. It's a very fun episode. We have a good time telling a lot of jokes, laughs, and having some serious conversation around the chef industry. We talk about a lot of things, including organizing chef events, charities, giving back to the community, as well as some of Mike's stand-up material that he's going to test out on the show. So you're going to hear some exclusive first-time jokes from a promising stand-up comedian on Chef's PSA. Stay tuned.
Today's episode of the Chef's PSA podcast is brought to you by the Chef's PSA store, the ultimate shop for chefs who live the hustle. Rock the Buck Frunch hats and hoodies, stay sucker-free with the Sucker-Free Kitchens line, or keep it real with the Just Cook collection. From tees to hoodies and more, we've got gear designed for chefs who work hard and play harder. Support the podcast and show off your style. Head to shop.chefspsa.com now and grab your favorites. Chef's PSA store. Cook hard, stay sharp.
Chefs, it's like a high school reunion. 915 in the head. One of the things I wanted to bring up right away, Rico, congratulations again on the Michelin star.
Thank you.
Has anything changed? What's new?
It's a whole nother restaurant.
Is it?
We had to learn that, really quick. So it was a restaurant. It was a different restaurant when we were in the train car. Moved into the bigger space. That was another big change. Everything that led us up to the star, we had dialed in. And then after that, so many people knocking on the door. And it's like, we want to take them all. I want to seat everybody. We learned really fast that that's too many people too fast. So
yeah. How many growth did you see?
Well, percentage-wise, I don't know. But I got my bills paid, so...
Yeah, good.
Would you go from I
don't know anybody right now. So
was it from like one turn a night to two turns or three turns or?
Well, we were adding about 25% more above capacity. So we were hitting capacity and then trying to add more on top of that. Then trying to squeeze it all in.
Yeah.
It was a lot of growth. It still is. I still get people. Friday night I was getting phone calls at 6 o'clock if I had a table for 4 at 7 o'clock. This is Valentine's Day, by the way, so I don't know when this airs, but that was Valentine's Day. I'm like, oh, guys, so I don't have anything till late March, which is great. It was a good product.
That's great. All the castigados.
So what we learned to do was dial it down a little bit to what it's supposed to be, so every diner feels like they had the best experience, so we don't burn this out in a couple of months. So that way, because too many people start kind of giving you bad feedback, and they're right. Like, shit, quality of service sucks because all the servers and everybody looks like they're running around with their heads cut off. And so we had to dial it back to get everybody very comfortable and find ways to fit in more people. But anyways, that's all the stuff that happened. Yeah. We've got to figure it out now, I think, and figured out where the changes are and how to adapt and how to put the team, all the players in the right positions. And I have a great, fucking incredible team, man.
You do.
They really care about what's happening at the restaurant. And so that allows everybody to do their specific jobs.
Yeah.
Like maybe Diego just focus on the past. Maybe we just focus on customer relationships while everybody else is doing their wines or their cocktails or, talking about the dishes coming out, and everything else is just falling into place like an orchestra.
Now that you've reached the pinnacle of having the star, do you feel like you guys are already carrying the burden that comes with the retention and what it gets there? And
Yeah. We've had to have a couple of coming to Jesus where it's like, don't worry about the next star, worry about tonight and the guests tonight.
Yeah.
We weren't chasing shit when we started this. Let's get back into that mind frame.
Yeah.
And just do it because this is the best that we can do. But yeah, it's always in the back of my mind too, man. Like, I'd be embarrassed in a lot of ways.
Has it worn off a little bit, or is the team still right on cloud 9?
I think it's given them the confidence that they needed to move on to the next better version.
Yeah.
And that's in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody got their tattoos and they're, that kind of.
Did you guys really get tattoos?
They did. I didn't.
Oh, how'd they get?
But I'm necio. They all got stars.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm just necio that way.
We're going to get one.
For me, it's like.
I cooked in Michelin.
They say friends with. Friendo.
Got a star by proxy.
Yeah, it seems like it's just been good for Texas in general, like for everywhere.
Absolutely.
And like
Absolutely.
not or anything.
Yeah,
But I mean, support your local still.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple of friends out there still hurting. It's like, fuck that, you know.
I had a Sunday night. I had a Sunday night dinner at Leroy and Lewis a couple weeks ago, and it was incredible how packed it was there.
Really?
But also like with that volume and like our meal was amazing. Like it was really, really cool to sit down and have this beautiful tray of curated meats and feel like this is totally a Michelin star barbecue restaurant, especially the service.
And we should go there after this.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I was thinking about this. Like,
You guys ever think about like how like that did Michelin give out 2 main stars like for the being the initial year? Is that like a thing that you guys even like?
Not
thought
so much. But I mean, Texas is a huge state.
yeah.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. Off the record, a lot of people have a lot of opinions that they would never say on the show. Like when I talk to people, it's like, and then they get on, you know, then like the cameras, like they all, you know, they walk it back a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Texas got too many. I think what surprised me personally was that certain cities got more than other cities, because I feel like, and this, you know, I'm not trying to pick on anyone, but I feel like Dallas probably could have gotten more than they got. And I'm not saying Austin should have got less or anything like that. I'm just saying I felt like Dallas kind of got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe they didn't put up enough money in the.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the same breath, for a city as big as El Paso, why were they not included? Obviously, pay to play, but I think it's a little discouraging, you know, for the city of El Paso to not be included.
I mean, all of us being from El Paso, it's like there's a lot of great stuff going on right now. I was really happily surprised the last time I did that collab dinner with Half Diaz. It was like there's a bunch of chefs that are like
Some mad
yeah, they're getting down, and I was really impressed.
I caught a couple of Tap Diaz guys at Corima, so shout out to you. Yeah, there's that and everybody out there. Yeah, incredible dinner, and there was a couple of guys that were staging out there.
Where?
At Corima in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's what you were saying.
Who was it, Rodrigo?
Yeah, Rodrigo was
Because she's the chef.
He was there.
He's a good dude, doing good work.
Yeah, and they also have the culinary school there, which is like a talent funnel now for the city. And when we were there last family meal that we did in El Paso, we did it at the Paso del Norte. So I did a speaking engagement there at the culinary school, and I had never been to that and honestly, I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
I went to the back, I was like kind of lost. I didn't realize that place was massive.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I'd get lost in a culinary school trying to find it. And then when I got there, I was like, you know, I've been to all the culinary schools. I've been to all the CIAs. I've been to many culinary schools. And I was like, holy shit, this is as beautiful as like the top schools. And who are the chefs that are behind it? Like Carlos Gaitan.
Anton, Mikel Alonso, and I forget the third. Yeah. But
I was super blown away by the school.
I was impressed. My friend did a walkthrough video, and I was just like, "What? Did they have like a wine tasting room?" I was like, "We didn't have that in my school." Like the little things like that. But he was impressed by the campus. I haven't been to it, but it's nice that they have it now, and there's a lot of talent coming out of El Paso. So
And there's a lot of support for what we're doing as well. For family meal coming up from the school, a lot of support comes out. The director, Josue, has always been a big supporter. So
nice.
That was a good dinner. I was thinking about like one of the things, like I'm going to put some pressure on you guys since you guys are here. One of the things that I want to do, like often, like people will ask me, like, what kind of restaurant would get you back into the game? It's like, well, not really any. But like if someone's listening, if there's a big money investor right now listening, this is my idea. Let's open up a Mexican steakhouse, because you know steakhouses make money. Yeah. But not the traditional way, not mac and cheese and
the Spanish out route.
yeah, not that like not bread, maybe tortillas, maybe a Mexican cheese cart, right? Mole with your steak. The way that Mexican culture celebrates meat, but turn that into a steakhouse with a great, you know, high-end tequila mezcal program, margaritas. Like, think about it. If anyone, don't steal my idea if anyone's listening, by the way. Think about it. You got top chef, Michelin star chefs. We get you involved, get your wife involved with the pastry.
I think that's a great idea. There are more steakhouses, more Mexican steakhouses.
So if you're listening, DM me.
Yeah, I mean, the steakhouse concept in Austin is really starting to become. I mean, like you look at like guest house, it's always booked up, and like they just open this other place areas and things like that. So
Paul said he was going to open up a Mexican steakhouse.
really,
Yeah, well, he said it on the show, so I could talk about it. Yeah, he said on the show he wants to open up a Mexican steakhouse.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Chicago project they do.
Yeah. So Junior and Nick Giannis are opening up. Nick and Junior, I think it's more it's Brazilian leaning, but
Yeah.
again, like I can't do Brazilian food like him. But I tell you what, I know which. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So for people that are listening that don't know what El Paso family meal is, can you give like a high level overview of what that is, and kind of how this passion project started and some of the things that you're working on?
Yeah, so El Paso Family Meal is going on its 7th year. We've got about 8 dinners under our belt, and the whole mission behind that was to really energize and elevate the community in El Paso as far as the industry is, but also showcase chefs that grew up there and are living somewhere else, and kind of El Paso everywhere identity. Of course, we started this back in the day when we were doing just festivals and barely meeting each other and finding out that we had these same backgrounds and wanted to hang out. And that's really what it was. It was just to hang out and laugh a lot, which is what they turned into.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're always a good time.
and but then it's this point where you get to also engage with the community and give back and use your clout to do that kind of stuff, and that is fantastic. It's super draining sometimes, so it's erratic when we start planning them. And here's an official shout out to and a call out for family meal ambassadors.
Yeah.
You want to plan something in your city? Let's talk about it. I'll back you up and support it so that we can get it set up. But
Have them initiate.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
I think to that extent, El Paso Family Meal has actually opened up the network of communication, because, we're planning an event and we're posting about it. Yeah, I've had a handful of chefs, from all around the country. They're like, "Hey, chef, I'm from El Paso. How do I get involved?" Like, so finding all of these, these talents, from different generations that want to be involved, it's like cool. Like, you're actually doing some cool shit, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and to that point, if you are from El Paso, make it known. We don't know every single chef that came out of El Paso, but there's so much badass talent out there. We want to include everybody as often as we can.
It's wild when you think about how much talent came out of that city, because I mean it's not one of the largest cities in Texas, but you just look at the 4 of us in the room. Then you look at in Dallas you have like Omar Flores, you have Fedmin Yunus, who's not in the room, Jake, Alan, like there's
Fidel from Kariman.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's wild everywhere, dude.
And the ones that are there right now.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think so much talent popped out of El Paso?
Well, I think that El Paso is a city, in different generations where direct education wasn't always a path, and people found cooking to be the other outlet, because especially during periods where gang violence was so high and there was a lot of shit to get into.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you choose?
Yeah.
But we had those good families, so it's not like
Yeah.
they were always kind of. There's so many good families in El Paso.
Yeah.
It's a safe city. I always call El Paso like the desert flower, because it's it doesn't have a lot of influences from East Coast, West Coast. It's kind of just stranded out in the desert by itself. And when it catches some rain, it blooms really beautiful. And on its ordinary, it's cushioned. Like those agaves that live up in the mountain, the highest parts, they come out the best and spoiled.
And it's exciting to see people going back, like Andres. I mean, Andres held two of the highest culinary positions in the country, working for Steven Starr, for Rick Bayless, and going back home and doing this thing now at Paso del Norte. I think it's super inspiring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I think about specifically with El Paso is there's cities that have very strong food cultures that you could recognize that cuisine no matter where you are. If you go to Boston and you get Boston food somewhere else, you say that food that's from Boston. You have New Orleans food outside of New Orleans, you say that's Cajun or that's Creole. You recognize it. But El Paso food also has that unique identity. When you eat El Paso food, you're like, that's El Paso food, because it's not necessarily, it is Tex-Mex, but it's like a micro Tex-Mex that's very specific to that city.
Tex-Mex, yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, it's funny because like people from El Paso, they're always like recognizing that it's not from El Paso, or it doesn't taste like, you know what I mean? Right. There's definitely like more like interior Mexican flair, like norteño in El Paso, but like it's the border town, it's that melding of the American
Big
culture.
burrito influence there,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's what's been really fun about the Tex-Mex project that I'm doing up north is just like really kind of honing in on like the northern Mexico and Norteño and border. Like it's fun, it's whimsical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not trying, for me that I've been so hyper focused on, regional Mexican cuisine, like doing the things that are nostalgic to me has been really fun. I think there's a lot more of that. One of the things I do want to bring up though is who we need to include in the next one is El Perrito here in Austin. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been there yet. I haven't been there, but it is amazing, man. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, it's everything from the menudo to they have amazing hot dogs and like enchiladas and carne deshebrada and all. I mean, it is a hug from home, man.
That divey location, right?
It's all Stastny. I mean, he's done amazing. He's done an amazing job with the space, and the vibes are great, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
We that's another place we should go after this.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely vibes from home. So, what are you working on? I know you got a lot going on. It's funny because every time I see you, it's like, and I'll send you a text like, "Hey, you want to grab lunch?" You're like, "No, I'm in DC," or "No, I'm in." I don't know where you are. It's hard to keep up with everything you got going.
Yeah,
on.
I think post Bacalar for me, I've just been previously I served on a culinary advisory board for a nonprofit called Hands Offering Hope. They've been around for 9 years, and it started out as a nonprofit organization that was really kind of like a catch-all support for communities in Quintana Roo and the Yucatan. And the founders, one of them is from Connecticut, one of them was from Veracruz, and his family moved to Chiquila, small fishing town where you catch a ferry to Holbox. And they wanted, they ended up knowing each other when they were teenagers. Fast forward 30 years, fall in love, get married. How do we give back to the community? They start this nonprofit called Hands Offering Hope. I got connected to them through a mutual friend, and I started being a culinary board advisor. And then after the shift from Macalada, they reached out and said, "Hey, how would you feel about taking over the organization for us and being the president and executive director?" And I said, "Well, I have no fucking idea how to run a nonprofit, but it's really close to my heart. My family."
Easier or harder than you thought?
It is much, much harder than I thought. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I think a lot of it has to do with, you're constantly asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're constantly asking, and it's hard to make people understand the sincerity of an ask and the good behind it without feeling like I'm just calling you to call for a favor. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's really eye-opening to see the people that really want to support and do good. And I mean, you see this with Family Meal, and you guys, I mean, we're organizing this dinner for next week, and to be able to call Mike and to call all these chefs in town and say, "Hey, will you donate your money and come cook for a good cause?" And people are like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in." It's amazing. So yeah, I ended up taking the opportunity, and I've been focused full time, really trying to grow the organization. The first thing that we did was rebrand it. We changed the name from Hands Offering Hope to Oido, and
Why is that? I mean.
I think, I told the founders, I said, Hands Offering Hope doesn't speak to what it actually is. And what we are is we're a nonprofit that provides culinary education to the adolescents, in the Yucatan Peninsula that otherwise wouldn't be able to go learn from culinary school. And it's such a high depth of hospitality and in tourism that there's careers waiting for all these kids that are 30 minutes from Cancun, have never visited Cancun. They've never seen a Starbucks. And they have all these opportunities waiting for them. They can go, you could walk into a Four Seasons and get pension, insurance, and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity. And, for us to have this culinary school, it's a 2-year program, and they go through it, they graduate, they do internships, all of things like that. So for me, I wanted to create a name for the organization that really reflected what it was, and that was Oido. Obviously, Oido being the equivalent of Yes Chef in Mexico, but it's also like, we hear you. We hear the community. We hear the students. We want to, we're that voice that listens to you. And that was kind of this new marketing campaign push. And plus, it's like, from a marketing standpoint, it's like, are you going to buy a hat that says Hands Offering Hope? Probably not. But I see an 18-year-old cook wearing an Oido hat or something like that. So look at it from that way. But yeah, that's kind of been my biggest push. My family's from Chetumal and the region, so it was a way for me to really explore more of my roots in there and how I can give back. That's not just saying I wrote a menu to reflect my family's history, because that's the easiest way for me to do it.
Yeah.
The one thing I have learned is that every person that I ask or talk to about Oido, they're looking for an outlet to give back to Mexico that's not through the conventional ways. And everybody wants to donate or help and support. And that's touching for me. And it's bigger than our egos. It's bigger than the let me fucking do the most soigné ass dish at this benefit dinner, to Flex Mountain. It's more like, hey, we're getting together for a good cause, and we're giving back, especially right now when we need to most.
What does the 2-year program look like for someone that's going through it?
So it's kind of built in the same way that you would at a typical culinary school. We actually have someone on the board from the CIA who donated all of the curriculum from the CIA. So we have that to pull from. Obviously, we've curtailed it a little bit because there's a lot of stuff that's just not going to be very applicable to what these kids need.
So this is like full-on culinary fundamentals, sauce work, everything.
Yeah,
So it was focusing on like just the regional cuisine of the
so more recently, I've started to ask the team to shift the curriculum to be more focused on the regional cuisine, because if I call Andre up and I say, hey, Andre, I've got this student coming from of our culinary school, and he is a master of Yucatan cuisine, that's going to be much more useful to him in his Mexican restaurant than, hey, I'm going to send you this Maya student who knows the mother sauces.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they?
Because they also all carry a bucket of knowledge of these things that we've never tasted, seen, or heard of. And
It's just like what they grew up.
yeah, it's what they grew up like, and it's like leaning into that. Yeah. So it's been really, really eye-opening. It's been very challenging.
What are some of the challenges that you're facing? Like, what are some of the challenges that you're facing new in position, but also what are some of the challenges you're facing as an organization?
I think as an organization, like most other nonprofits, is just financial. For us, we've got to find a minimum of 15 to 20 grand a month to operate. So.
Wow. So for people that are listening, because millions and billions of listeners of Chefs PSA, how can they support?
Yeah, I'm actually grateful to have this platform from you, Andre. This alone is, and a lot of nonprofit is less about, can you give me $100? It's more about awareness. And if everyone that's listening to this podcast right now goes to oido.co and donate $1, if 100,000 people hear this podcast and everyone donates $1, that funds us for half a year. Right. And I don't think people understand the power of little compounding, and it's with anything else. I mean, it's just like when we do a family meal dinner. Just spreading the word creates a lot. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I can't get there. Okay, cool. Well, at least follow us on Instagram. Yeah. And just follow and repost helps tremendously.
Yeah.
So that's dope. Congrats, Gabe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I think that the thing that I've been really excited about is it's an opportunity for me to cook too with my friends all over the country that want to support. It's like we can get together for a good cause. It's not the pressure of all the daily shit. It's a different kind of pressure.
But it's funny because you talk, and we were talking about this earlier, how hard it is when you got a group of chefs and you try and organize a dinner, right? It's like, hey, we're going to have a dinner. Okay, great. And then you get in a group text and it's like, we're a week out. Who's doing what? What course are you on? Like, I want scallops too. Now I'm doing scallops.
But we make that smoother where it's like, it's more of the menu kind of like works on itself.
We talked about, I think you and I talked about this. I think that moving forward, a good template is like, if obviously Rico is the founder of the Paso family meal, Rico sends out a menu and it's like, I don't give a shit what you want to cook, but cook it with a scallop. You cook it with shrimp and you build around it because they're on
a second course and it has to be
the dudes that want to do octopus.
Absolutely.
Then you got 6 fish courses and
wait, I'm doing the same thing.
I mean, you always come across that, and it's always a challenge, but it's fun.
It's so funny organizing chefs. Like people will say, like, "Oh, well, you're a chef." Like, yeah, but you don't understand. I'm not their chef.
Yeah.
And like, I can't tell them what to do. I can't tell them to make sure that they get the menu to me on time and make sure you give me your order. Hey, I got to place the order by tomorrow. What time are you going to be in the kitchen? You said 5.
Make it easy for them. Make it easy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's
The hard at Baca, that's how exactly how we did it at 1700 with Mike Graham. And everybody, here's your courses.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is what we're serving in this order, this way. and it takes a lot of choices out. It makes things a little bit easier because
I think it also lends itself well to sponsorships too. Like if you have people donating protein or seafood, and it's, it makes the dinner that much more lucrative.
we had a lot of bison out of that one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bulo. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for chefs that are listening, whether you're doing a dinner with this group or you're just like, get your item in on time, get your order in on time, show up on time. Don't make us worry that, hey, it's 5 o'clock and they're not here yet. Dinner starts at 6.
And I think also, in terms of, whether it's a benefit dinner or just a collaboration dinner, like also be an advocate for it and promote, like beyond just reposting, because that's the easiest thing to do. Like actively find a way to tell people, hey, can you buy 2 tickets to this event? Because then that puts the burden on Rico trying to do everything.
Write your own post about it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, like, because I'm in the social media world now, like I realize reposting doesn't do as much as people think it does.
It does not.
And I hate to say it, reposting almost does nothing. Yeah. Especially because most people just skip. I don't know. You got to think of more creative ways to get the word out other than reposting.
I think one of the things that I've found, not just from my experience, but from what I see, then gets me activated or interactive. Like, hey, like it's a static post giveaway.
Yeah.
Follow here, click here, sign up here. And
Yeah.
people are actually moving around, reading, clicking, and they're like, oh shit, I want to do.
You guys make them wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you got to make them work for it.
Yeah.
We'll probably do that for this upcoming dinner. Is some kind of follow the organization, tag your homie that you want to take to the dinner, and we'll see you there.
So the dinner, this podcast will be released after the dinner, but tell who's at the dinner?
Yeah,
What
so
is it?
I was a little ambitious with this dinner because I wanted to include a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there's 10 chefs.
That's a lot.
There's 30 bartenders, but part of this is if I'm going to get somebody to come out and eat on a Monday night, because Monday night, Garbo's Lobster, Heidi, and them have been great supporters of just a lot of things in town, and they've offered up their space in their newest location in Dripping Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Super beautiful space, great food, and they're closed Monday, so they said take our
Shout out
space.
to Garbo's
Yeah,
Lobster. right?
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 3 pass bites. So there's 3 chefs there, and then there's 7 courses.
Yeah.
One of them is a bread course. So we have Sandeep, who is the former Emmer Group baker. He helped them with the Pullman Market Bakery.
And he's probably one of the best.
I mean, for sure.
Arguably.
Yeah, so he's going to do 2 different types of sourdoughs, one with pulque and mesquite, one with vilacoche and, his mesquite butter that he's kind of known for. And then we have, just this array of chefs like, Mike and Laura and Joe Chan and, Alex Castro, Joseph Gomez from Con Todo, have and upcomers like Alex Castro, who just took over Fona San Miguel.
Yeah.
So we have all these, these amazing talents that are coming through to put together. And the idea behind that is like, it's much easier for me to have and for any of us to have a group of people just doing one thing they can focus on. Mm-hmm. And then you also have the extra hands there, and everyone's all hands involved and things like that. And then, to have the banger blowout with Mike's partner, Laura, and dessert, who I think is, the goat of pastry in town.
Yeah,
is really, really excited. And then we've got really, really good sponsors from Casa Lumbre, and we've got DJ Susi, who's going to DJ throughout the night. So and I mean, I'd love to have you guys there.
Right?
Yeah. I'd love to have you guys there Monday, man. Please come.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Let's do it.
It's funny how we're talking about what you do. For people that are listening, like all of you are chefs, but Rico also runs Family Meal. You run Oido. You have restaurants. You got a lot going on. I got a lot going on. I know you do something else, but like for a lot of people.
No, let's talk about that really quick. I'm gonna plug Mike here if he doesn't want to, but he's all. I mean, Mike and I opened up a taqueria together with Jesse Griffiths, in 2017 or 18, and another friend of ours, John, it was the 3 of us, and we always joked around because we called it the old man taqueria, and Sundays was always old man brunch. But one of the things I loved most was that we were always just talking shit and cracking jokes, and Mike was always a comic.
Yeah.
And for years and years, I was like, man, you need to do a big, you need to do some stand up, and fast forward, years later, last November, I saw a post where Mike says he's giving his comedy debut, and I thought it was a fucking joke, but he did, and I would, props to Mike for getting up at Cap City Comedy Club and doing his first bit, and You know, I was really hoping he brought out the most famous epic piece, the dildo piece.
What's the dildo piece?
Well, that's
Take your time to describe it because it's so good. Tell you about dildo. So.
All right. Well, so I'm being put on the spot. I mean, it's my closer, so I want you guys to like come out and like see the show if you want.
So where you doing stand up at though?
So I just got lucky, and my cousin hooked me up and was able to like facilitate it. So not everybody gets there first time. It's like you usually like in a pizzeria in the back of a pizzeria kind of somewhere like in New York, and you fucking bomb. But I got a couple of laughs, and my closer was my famous dildo story that I'm like the famous dildo story. No, sorry, but this is mine. Well, I mean, I'd love to indulge you guys.
Yep, please. Please. For the Chef's PSA audience, that's rated R after
as funny as I possibly can. All right, so part of my stand-up routine was like just kind of talking about, growing up in a big Mexican family, and many years ago, I actually got to, because of having a giant Mexican family, I was able to like live with one of my aunts and my cousins in California, in Southern California. So, it was just like an average, afternoon after, we're just hanging out at the house, and cousin and I are, throwing the football around the front yard, and he throws me a pass that I didn't catch, and it lands by this bush, and I see this perfect little black mushroom just like kind of like sticking out of it.
like a morel.
Yeah, no, like a perfect button mushroom, just like jet black, and I was like, that's weird. So I like immediately I call my cousin over, and I'm like, dude, check this out, and then I'm just like, it's a perfect little black mushroom. Isn't that weird? So I curiously like kick the mushroom, and I like the earth shifts, and it's just like this giant black dildo. It's the tip of this giant black dildo. So I'm just like, wow, it's me and my cousin are looking at it very confused, and we're just like, what the fuck is here? So I start thinking,
How old are you at this time?
I'm 22.
Oh, okay.
I'm 22. 8. No, I'm 22. My 8-year-old cousin, though, was playing with us. He's like, what's going on? We're like, get out of here. No, you're not nothing to see here. Get out of here. So mom's calling, go back inside. And so like we're just like, just what happened to this? Where is this from? Like, what the hell, right? So we ended up just like getting rid of the dildo. I think we recycled it or something. Super California.
Would it say blue bin? And we got rid of it like 2 minutes. You bought for another one. You got another picture. And you guys do trade-ins?
You guys are making the story better. There's no way to roll past it.
So anyway, I end up like moving back home to El Paso. And I'm just, just working at restaurants. I think I was working at Cafe Central. And, one of my best friends happened to be working at a porn shop. And he always had like videos laying around. Back then it was just like deep, VHS cassettes. I remember he had this one cassette on top of his TV, and it was red. And I was like, wow, it's like a slutty looking cassette. I was like, so I pick it up and I look at it, and the title on it was Gag Factor 2.
I wonder what this is.
So like true to the name of the on the cassette, it was a lot of gagging. I'll not to be told because it's PG-13. I want to keep it PG-13. And so I'm like, I like 20-year-olds do with their other friends, let's watch a little porn. Like middle of the day, like I don't know, like Saturday, whatever, and we're just watching this porn, and I'm like, that jacuzzi looks a little familiar. and I'm like, well, look at that wall of mirrors by the front door. Like that looks kind of. Recognize that a little bit. It's like, wait, is that red brick in the kid? And, holy shit, that's the house I lived in. The fucking video was filmed inside the house, and that's how the goddamn dildo got there. I don't know who was working that day and was just like burying a dildo instead of putting it in the trash can, but that's the dildo story, yeah. And what really made it funny was like, how do I show this to my cousins that live at the house with me? You know, so I had to find a way to like, hey, you guys want to watch some porn? So I had a story. I was lurking. It's like all the faces like super awkward, right? Like chance, and I was like, what are the odds of like the thousands and thousands of houses in Southern California, the hundreds of thousands of videos that get made, that fucking video is gonna be on top of my friends?
Chances are 100%. It was 100%. Chances are 100%.
Very ticket day.
I should have bought a lot, but no, it was just a really fucking funny thing that actually happened, and I had to show my cousin the. So I'm like there putting like watching the movie, and then waiting for his reaction. He finally is just like, I'm like, and then he fucking like jumps up like 10 minutes later. Holy shit, Michael, that's the fucking house we lived in. Yeah. I think the dildo story is much better when it gets kind of like snuck in, as opposed to when you get put on the spot. But yeah, it's
First time I heard that, I was yeah, I almost didn't believe it.
so it gets less funny as it.
It gets.
Anyway, that's the dildo story.
But, I mean, that's great.
When I'm trying to do stand up, yes, a little bit more outside.
What got you into stand-up?
I've always wanted to do
Yeah.
it. I've always been told I'm funny, but like it's hard to get up on stage. I mean, Gabe and I were talking about it, and like one of the hardest things was just like, the room was much smaller than I thought.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's cool. I felt, but then he was like, oh, I would have thought that was more intimidating.
I mean,
And it was. I mean, it was.
first row is 2 feet away, and
I mean, your first row. You say you feel like literally you're.
right, I mean, you're like a piece of fried chicken in a heat lamp too, and you're just like,
And I think that's what helped me. I was like, I went up on stage, and honestly, I was blinded, but because I wasn't used to the spotlight.
Yeah.
So I kind of performed blindly, and that kind of helped me relax a little bit. But my goal was really like low, like the bar was really low, dude. I want to get one laugh or bomb. And so like I got as soon as I heard Gabe laugh, I'm like, I'm good.
But also, it was really cool to see a lot of El Paso. I mean, a lot of El Paso people came out for it. And it was His cousin is amazing.
My cousin crushed it.
It is amazing.
Was your cousin in GQ?
Yes,
He was in GQ, right?
recently in GQ.
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, he's like I said, dude. He's been acting since he's 2 years old.
Yeah.
So shout out to Brian Torres Day, my little. No, he's great. He. It's funny because I was living in that house.
Yeah.
With the dildo. The dildo story took place, and he was like a little working actor at 12 years old, and I was taking him to his job. So it's really nice to see that full circle, that he's the one that got me the 7 minutes on stage, whatever, that night. So
Well, Austin's like it's the new comedy capital, right?
Right.
Yeah. Have you gone to try to get on like Kill Tony or the Mothership or everything?
no, I'm gonna work my way up to it for
Yeah?
sure. Yeah. But it's cutthroat up there. Those guys are pretty nasty. Yeah, they're brutal. So you got to be sharp. You got to be quick with those guys. So I'm gonna do a little more Mickey Mouse shows where everybody's more supportive.
Do you have a separate comedy page, or is it just like you got like the restaurant only?
I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm like so stoked to just like do it. It was invigorating that I see like the other comedians that are like talking about getting paid, and I'm like, oh yeah, how do you get paid? I'm just like, oh yeah, see, maybe I should figure out that. So yeah, I'm probably gonna do like a page or a YouTube channel.
Well, no, I mean, it's interesting now with all the platform. I mean, you look at like Drew Talbert, who did like the hospitality focused one.
Yeah.
And his are hilarious, man. And people are so relatable to him because he uses, these topics and these situations that we all experience every day. And I think that people find a lot of comfort in.
Dude, restaurant humor is such a.
I mean, that's what the sustenance.
It's a niche, dude. It's such a niche.
Yeah.
I love comedy, and it's funny because I wanted to be a stand-up comedian when I was younger. And when I first started Chef's PSA, I thought I was super funny, and I don't think people got my joke. So I pulled it back. I was like, oh, wait, no one thinks this is funny. Their dad jokes now. But I'm like,
Well, we're here to laugh with you. Or you. I don't know. What do you?
well, I was like, I don't know if anyone thinks this is funny but me. I was just like, I got to find a way to make my... There's shit that I put on Chef's PSA that is just to make me laugh that everyone misses, but I'm like, this is a good one. If people are paying attention, there's a good one in there, right? Yeah. But it's funny, to what I was trying to say is like so many chefs, I think, need extracurricular work or hobbies or things like that. What else? I think it's cool that, you got El Paso Family Meal, you got Oido, you got the stand-up comedy. I got this whole thing that I'm doing here. But I think a lot of chefs sometimes, like if people are listening, this would be my advice. This is my literal PSA. If you're a chef, is like eventually you might want to have a backup plan.
Totally.
Yeah. Because I don't think enough chefs talk about that. It's like there comes a point when you start hitting your 40s and you're creeping into 50. It's like, okay, what's after that? It's like working the line ain't after that. Like, no. And whether that's being a restaurateur, whether that's, having different businesses or stuff like that. But I definitely think you can't wait until it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell my cooks, like that the line cooks that are young and they're like, I every second that I'm not at work, I want to be working. And I'm just like, I get it. It's like money and you're working right now and you can handle it, but it's like, you got to balance that shit out. Like not when you're like 40, like when you're in your 20s and you're still fresh and spry, like you got to take care of yourself, because then you're gonna end up like, me, like I'm 45 and I got the knees of a 65-year-old, because
Right.
I was just like, I gotta go harder than everybody else and stay longer, be here earlier, and then it's just like there's no balance. So like we're never encouraged to have like a work-life balance, which is like now I'm seeing more younger cooks, I think, that are advocating for themselves. Back when we were younger, like we didn't have that. You couldn't advocate for yourself so much as you can now.
I'm advocating for that.
Yeah, exactly.
When we close for our 2 days, Sunday, Monday, it's always like, hey man, this is a job. It's like everything we do here is fantastic. It's a job. There's a lot of passion, but go home. I don't want to hear from you. Like, and not in a bad way, but like go live your life, go enjoy your life, and I'll see you when you come back. You have that extra day off, whatever. Somebody's on vacation, like enjoy that, because the level of service and creativity that has to happen is high, and you can't achieve that if you're all convoluted.
Yeah,
If you're thinking about how dirty your house is or how messy your life has been, like you need to be able to come into work and have a little bit of sense of structure.
Yeah.
Like you said. And starting off with a hobby doesn't have to be with this mindset that I need to have my hobby now because in 10 years I'm going to need it. As I get older, it can just be fun. It could be music or whatever, philanthropy.
And the best hobby could be, physical fitness.
Right.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think our generation overlooked that a lot.
Yeah.
I
mean, COVID really, to me, I don't know about you guys, but like COVID really, it started kind of messing with my head, where I'm like, if I can't do what I've been doing for 20 years, I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm like started woodworking and like, doing
Well, a lot of people.
just like other stuff.
A lot of people move to Plan B. And it's funny because years ago, like let's say at the beginning part of most of our careers, I know I worked crazy, like 6 days a week, and I worked like a badge of honor. Like I've worked 30 days straight without a day off. Who else, right? Like I'd brag about that. Or I worked, X amount of doubles. And like, I'm going to be honest now, like back then I thought I was a badass, but when I look at it now, it's like, after about 10 hours, I wasn't that productive. I wasn't that, they would have benefited by having me fresh.
Yeah.
My old chefs, or even when I was the chef, I would have benefited my team by being fresh, because after a certain amount of hours, I turned into, an asshole.
Dude, when I had you for 10 fresh hours, I'd be like, hell yeah. It's like crazy, right?
Yeah.
We're so instilled in us that it's like to do a 12-hour plus shift is like no big deal. And that's kind of fucked up. Like,
Well, I used to go home at 8 hours, and I'd be like, that's like a half day. Like I would feel like, what am I going to do with the rest of my time? That's only 8 hours. I would feel like it wasn't. I wouldn't even count it sometimes as a work day if I only worked 8 hours.
it's a half day.
Yeah, it's a half day. Yeah, but it's weird. But now I think knowing what I know now, I wouldn't run a kitchen that way, or I wouldn't work myself that way. I'd say, I'd rather have you fresh. I'd rather have you fresh 10 hours probably. After that, it's like, I think when you start going into the 14th hour, yeah, you're still there and maybe you're still, but you're not as fresh as you were.
Yeah, their work ethic is there. It's just more of like what you were saying, Rico, is like you got to advocate for them. I'm telling them to be like, take like, you know, don't work so hard. Don't work every freaking, you know, don't send all your money back home and, you know, save some of that for yourself to, you know, go out to, you know, dinner, you know, go buy yourself something nice.
But, you know, it's not just for them. It's a little bit selfish too.
Right.
Because I know that we're going to have a better return on all of that.
Totally.
I mean, the science is there. Like, you can't really focus. Every 45 minutes of focus, you need like 15 more minutes to relax. And you actually are more productive at the end of the day than trying to push through anything else.
Have you all ever run any of the kitchens or do you know anyone that's running a kitchen that's a 4-day work week? Like Core 10s?
We were doing that just before.
How was it?
I got a lot of stuff done at the house.
Yes.
How do you do this, Shrimp? Yeah. One day off and I'm good, and I'm start organizing closets, looking for a project. Because one of the things that I've always done, and I didn't realize it was such an important part of life, is that I get really bored with how the living room or the bedroom is arranged. And I want to start moving shit around, painting and changing things up and making sure that everything's really organized. And that OCD that you have on the line, you know, extends into my life as well. So I want my shirts on these hangers and my pants on these hangers and my shoes like this and on X. And my wife makeup shit, I need her to be clean. So sometimes I'll do it, you know, and she'll be very happy that I organize all her makeup stuff. I don't know who else would, but she's down with that. What it has is that it's created a moment for clarity in my own mind, and so I feel more productive when those things are happening.
Yeah. Did you notice any difference from your staff? Like, were they coming in happier or less happy? They wanted to work more?
Well, it was a double-edged sword. On one side, everybody enjoyed that extra time, and so that creativity was there. But I also noticed that if we were only working 4 days, they were getting a little more tired than when we were working 5 days.
Why is that?
I think it's because you're not in the physical zone of pushing your body, you know?
Were they doing the longer shifts on the 4 days?
No, they're about the same. Okay. We still hit 10, 12 hours. Just depends on who's there, what time, who's responsible for what. But I noticed like people were a little tired. It's just like whenever you start getting busy for the busy season, that first week is hard. Yeah. But then after that, you're all energized to keep going. But again, as you're getting older, like drinking sucks all that stuff out of you. Yeah. As much as I want to have a lot of mezcal with my wife, you know, on a weekend night, like I know that the next day I'm not going to be productive at all.
Yeah. Yeah. A night out, like I'm not.
We're different now, dude. It's like my Friday night on the couch with the dog in New York is amazing.
Yeah.
I have zero issue with that.
I want to ask you guys, so for the chefs listening, I want to give them something to think about. What is something like a game-changing bit of culinary technique or advice that once you saw it, you can never go back and you're like, how did I not know that before?
That's a good question.
So that way the cooks are listening like, fuck, I didn't know that. I'm going to start doing that tomorrow. Like, what's one of those things that's like when you saw it's like, damn, that's smart, efficient, and so much easier.
For example?
I'll give you an example. Like for me, one of the first things that it blew my mind when I first saw it is like when everyone was using microgreens, like I don't know if everyone uses microgreens still, they don't, but like they wilt, like you have a little deli container of microgreens on the pass. Before you know it, like by the end of service, they're trash. You got to throw them away because they're all wilted. Compressing microgreens in a cryovac machine with ice water so they last for a week. And they're going to last throughout service. They're not going to wilt under the heat lamp. So that to me was like, okay, when I figured that out, I was like, I can't go back to just having, you know, my garnishes on my garnish station. Most of the herbs are going to be cryovac in ice water, and then and then I'll dry them on a towelette or something.
I know that trick.
Yeah. So that's it. That's an example.
Yeah.
Our chef Nico brought that a couple of weeks ago, and it's been working out really well. So big props, Chef Nico.
Yeah, Chef Nico.
I think for me it was the biggest game changer for me in terms of leading the kitchen was using all of our byproduct in terms of like fermentation, because I was able to find so many different new flavors and ways to make food taste better with, well, otherwise would have got thrown away.
What do you use for like basic fermentation? Like for people that don't ferment, did you just go like a straight 2% salt, like in a cryovac, or do you use the jars? What do you do?
It just depends on, obviously if it's like a miso or, aminos or something like that, those are all done differently. But Some of the most amazing things I've tasted have been like byproducts of fermentation. It's like, how do you season sauces? Like I love to use a lot of ferments to season moles, and I think that it adds so many different layers.
What's like what?
Like pumpkin seed misos, like garums, things like that, and all different types of misos and garums and aminos and things like that. And they add so much different, for example, like, I was just talking to Rico about this corn koji shoyu that we did with as a collaboration.
Is that the one you gave me a bottle of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just like, it's not only is that good on its own, but like when you use that to season things, it's incredible. I mean, it's incredible. It elevates a dish like to another. Like, I mean, all their products. Like the day we did that dinner, the family meal.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought us all those products from all these ferments, and there was like these misos and these. Rico did this amazing tomato dish,
And it just
and it was like it like took it to a whole new level. And I think that it's a way of transforming waste into like crazy.
We used to do we had all the mushroom,
The caps.
the caps, and like and like we would turn that into like we would ferment it, and then we'd like puree it.
What would you do for the fermentation?
So it was just like simple, like
Yeah,
It was like a 2% salt.
it was this like non-product. It was like it's like the scraps of the mushroom.
Do you ferment it usually in brine, or do you toss it normally with salt?
Well, I think we had we're doing it in a
bag.
Yeah,
Right,
we had a
bag.
bag. So we would just take all the. We were doing like a mushroom taco, and we take all the stems.
For people that are listening, can you explain what that process looks like?
Yeah, I mean, typically it's either a dry brine of like 2 to 3% salt, or a wet brine, and then you can put it in a fermenting canister or vessel with an air chamber lock. You don't have to, but that prevents interaction with oxygen, or you can put it in a vacuum seal bag, and that I like that.
bag?
Yeah,
like-
because what it does is as it gives off carbon dioxide, it starts to inflate,
Yeah, and
and
you
that
can
gives
see
you
it.
kind of a visual of where it's at in fermentation.
So once it was like inflated, it's like a little pillow.
Right.
You take that, puree it, and what we were doing, I was dehydrating it, and then we're taking like the sped corn, like after making the nixtamal, like I would make the.
We season the corn nuts.
Well, no, it was like we'd fry and make corn nuts, and then I grind it all up with the mushroom powder, and it was like a corn furikake.
Okay, yeah,
was dope.
that's nice.
That was amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, obviously, fermentation's becoming more and more common nowadays, but I think that was like a game-changing things, and seeing different, people like Kevin and them that have a huge fermentation program, and they can afford to have someone like Alfredo who has like their entire program,
Right.
and it's a game changer for the business, for food costs, for all kinds of things.
Yeah. One other thing I hate to say too, but another one that I think was pretty good that I liked is I would have my cooks keep a little squeeze bottle of water on their station for everything. Like sauce is too thick, squeeze of water. You need like everything. It's like I would call it the soigné water. I'd put the label on it, right?
Yeah.
Because like it just came in handy for so much shit. You just need to dilute. It's just squeeze here, squeeze there.
I think one of the coolest things, I said out loud the other day, the use of sailing in drinks.
Yes.
Like it's a trip, dude. Because it's like,
Explain what that means.
so it's like sailing is just like water with salt,
Right.
With a salt solution, and when you don't think about it, but when you're making mixed drinks, a couple of like little splashes in it, it's just like it brings out it does what salt does, It's
Yeah.
like it brings out more of the
So like you're using it like bitters?
it's like with along with bitters.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I thought it was like, wow, it's like we're putting this sailing in every fucking drink at Oseo not. It's like part of
What's the ratio of the solution?
I don't know what the percentage that they use, but I imagine it's probably like a 5% solution. It can't be that strong. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
But
but I could taste it.
I could,
And-
yeah, you could,
I getting to these studies.
yeah, you could taste
Well,
the drinks a lot more.
it's just like it needs this or it needs that. I don't know exactly where it's going, but that saline comes in handy. It's like using sugar to also season something.
Yes, like bartenders have their simple shit.
A little bit. Things like that to pick out.
Are you guys listening to
More all day, dude.
Yeah, what are you guys listening to in the kitchen? Kendrick?
I'm
Drake? No. Drake has a new album, came out on Valentine's Day. And Drake, I listened to a couple songs of that.
A lot of cumbia as always, you know.
Yeah.
Article, yeah.
A huevo.
If I get that playlist before anybody else, we're going deep into some. Right now, I like Thundercat a lot. I like a lot of funky rock, groovy stuff that are coming out. I was listening to something called Love Unlimited Orchestra, which is kind of weird, but I really like that. So I was going into that. Oh.
What are you listening to?
It's a little bit of everything for me right now.
LCD.
There's a new. I like the new Bomba Stereo.
Yeah.
Like the Marias are good. I like La Lom.
Yeah.
They're kind of in that genre of like Hermanos Gutierrez and things like that. But yeah, some of the new hip hop as well it's been cool to see like the old guys coming out with new stuff like Dr. Dre and Eminem and these guys. So it's interesting.
I like a lot of local stuff, like the Bright Light Social Hour, Easy Compadre, or this girl Annabelle Chairlegs. She fucking rocks. She's badass. Got a badass voice. She's like rock.
Yeah, I would think we're in a renaissance of this music right now, where like good shit is coming back, and so you're seeing these older artists having to come out of the woodwork and be like, "Hey, let me get you back on track." When you seeing the Black Crows come back again, it's badass.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, that's cool.
When I was a chef, I wouldn't allow music in the kitchen, like zero. It would drive me crazy. Like it would boo. Yeah, right. It's like so many people get mad when I say that. Like people would be like, "How dare you? You're toxic chef!" And
Laura does not allow whistling in the kitchen.
yeah, same thing. Bad luck. It's bad luck. You can't whistle. In the
I
kitchen.
like whistling in the kitchen.
But I would catch so much shit for not letting people play music. But I do have a chef's PSA hip hop playlist on Spotify. Like they can search that. It's like
I gotta see that.
It's like what? Like that's like 120 hip hop songs that I put in my chef's PSA. So people that are listening, go search the chef's PSA hip hop on Spotify, and you'll see.
What I used to like doing is I'd give every chef an hour. I'd say come to service with your playlist, and every hour we'll change playlists to every, and that can control the tempo of the ring.
I used to do that too.
And people were, it was kind of nerve wracking for the cooks. She was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get judged like what I play." And then
I used to do that too until one of my cooks played Sandstorm on repeat for fucking like until I realized it.
But on the positive side of it, I mean, it's a great way to get that person or maybe the whole team into that creative flow state.
Yeah.
When you have the right mix going on, sometimes I'll put on I love mixed songs. Like remixes of badass songs. Like I have this one of When Doves Cry, and it's just like fucking everybody's jamming. They don't even know that I've
been on an 80s kick. I have my 80s hits playlist, and I have an oldies playlist. Like I like oldies, like Barbara May, like Chola oldies. It's the El Paso little bit 80s. Yeah. They're oldies playlist.
I've got a playlist on Spotify called Paso Sundays Oldies.
Yeah, send it to me. Send it. But Seth, before we wrap up, where can everyone find you? What are you working on?
All right. Well, we're on Cesar Chavez at Oseo, Korean American restaurant. Find me there Tuesday through Sunday.
Yeah. Right now I'm focused on the nonprofit Oido, OIDO.co. Please give us a follow. We're doing some really cool stuff to support Mexico, and appreciate anyone that wants to share and follow. And then still focused on my restaurant up in the DC greater area, Omateo.
Okay. Follow us on the El Paso Family Meal Instagram account, and I think it's time to get another one going. So, shout out to ambassadors. Let's get it going, and you guys too. Let's throw one.
Dude, congrats again on this.
Let's get to the 10th one and do a reunion with all the badass.
Yeah. All right, Chef. Good seeing you. We'll do this again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Well, hope you enjoyed the show. You know what to do if you want to support. Go to chefspsa.com. Get yourself something. Books, merch. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or anywhere else, make sure you leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Hit the porno music.
Yo, it's André in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction, stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, class is in session.